All right, we'll get underway here. So how's it going? My name is Brian Lewis. I am the Director of Marketing here at OrthoFi. Again, I know everybody is super busy this time of year. It's crazy. People, kids are going back to school, and I know it's the busy season right now. So I want to give everybody a thank you for being here with us this evening and spending a little bit of time with us tonight on this webinar. I am really excited. We have a lot of our clients on here, a lot of non-OrthoFi clients as well, learning, like I said, from really one of the best treatment coordinators in the industry, and Danielle Offerman. Since joining Spillane Reynolds Orthodontics as a treatment coordinator in 2016, Danielle has really transformed the patient experience at their practice, putting a real emphasis on building value through offering customized and affordable treatment solutions. And Danielle has over 10 years of experience in sales, from automotive sales and doing product training, and she's quickly become a leader in case conversion and sales development within the orthodontic community. She's an OrthoFi client, obviously, and has won numerous awards that we hand out every year at our Nexus OrthoFi user meeting. She's been awarded the top TC for same-day contracts, and she still holds the #1 ranking in OrthoFi's treatment recommended conversion rate. She works with orthodontic practices across the U.S. to improve their conversion rates and patient customer experience. And I know I've learned a lot from Danielle in the time that I've known her, and I'm excited for her to share some of that knowledge with all of you guys as we find ways to continue to improve practices same-day starts, help you grow your practice and run more affordable or more efficient practice that's really going to help you grow and do great things. So if you aren't a client of OrthoFi, we hope you learned some things today. Thank you for being here. We'd love, if you're interested in what you see, we'd love to set up some time with you and schedule a demo after the fact. We have a lot of great promos that we're running as far as getting new clients. We just kicked off a lot of new integrations. We integrated with Gauge recently, and we're integrating with a lot of different practice management software. So there's a lot of things you can learn. Whether we're the right fit for your practice or not, it'll be up to you. But I promise that you'll learn a lot in an hour with a demo with our sales team, and you'll find it a valuable experience for your team, and you'll think that it was an hour well spent. So with that, I want to hand it over to Danielle. It's my honor and privilege to introduce her. And if you have questions, please ask questions during this. We want this to be as engaging and interactive as possible. So Danielle's going to go through a presentation, but at the end, we've blocked off a lot of time to do a little bit of Q&A. So we're fielding your questions in the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. Please submit anything, and then at the end, we will tee it up for Danielle and make sure that she answers any of the questions you have. So with that, I'm going to duck out, and I'll hand it over to Danielle.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I know it's the end of summer. It's really busy, and we're tired, but I appreciate you guys spending some time here with us so that we can share with you some of what's working in our offices, what we're finding as to be really valuable processes. So we're going to talk a little bit about growing into a DoctorLESS exam. I wanted to spend just a second and emphasize that we're not talking about a DoctorLESS exam. We're talking about the doctor being in the exam less so that she or the doctor can be other places. We want to essentially take the doctor out of the selling process when it comes to orthodontics. And that's what we're saying when we say DoctorLESS. We're really saying less doctor, because honestly, we can't do it without them. But we also want to maximize the time that they have, reduce their stress, the amount of time that they're spending in the treatment room. So what we're learning here in our offices is that we have some really strong processes, and we do those processes consistently, we can achieve really amazing outcomes. So I wanted just to spend just a quick second explaining that piece of the puzzle. From there, these are my people. I want to introduce you to my family. This is my husband, Scott. This is my daughter, Anna, and my son, Zach. They're pretty amazing people, and I'm really glad to that they let me be their mom. So that's a little bit about my family. We have a dog as well. Her name is Bailey, unfortunately not pictured. We were in Florida while this picture was taken. I think it was about 95 degrees. It was a pretty amazing trip down there. But what I also realized about this picture And as I was going through the other pictures that I have on my phone, is that either we're not with enough people to take a family picture because every one of these group photos happens to be a selfie photo. So it's, this is my family, and this is my other family. This is, I work for Spillane Reynolds Orthodontics. I have since 2016. I have an amazing team here within Spillane Reynolds, but we've grown. We're part of Orthodontic Partners, which is a community that is encompassing really amazing practices, leading teams, leading doctors throughout North America. You can see some of these partners, and some of these folks are OrthoFi clients as well, so they understand that having important pieces of the puzzle in place ahead of time is important, and OrthoFi helps us all do that. So we're very fortunate to be in this same room, with some of really amazing practices. Today, what we want to talk about is processes, where we do things, why we do things, and how we do things, and the reasons behind those things. We're going to talk a bit about exam preparation. We're going to talk about hype calls, value building, discovery, eliminating obstacles with proactive scripting, treatment planning, presentation, and slider presentation. So much work goes into an exam before a patient walks in the door. Our phones ring, our amazing front desk team is set and prepared to answer the questions, to get the right information. But there's a lot of work that goes into an exam before they walk into the door. We want to be sure that we are onboarding our patients and making it as easy as possible for them to come into the office and get all the information that they want to get, which is very important. So OrthoFi is important in that process to us because it helps us streamline the patient onboarding process. They have mobile forms, they send out text reminders, and what we're finding is so many of our patients' forms are completed before they even walk in the door. This helps us, because the forms are completed, the insurance verifications are completed, so that correlates with our same-day starts. What you'll notice when we are walking through the information, we understand the patient's information. We understand also what's important to them. Are they interested in flexible monthly payments prior to coming in the door? And as a treatment coordinator, that's incredibly valuable information. All of the guesswork has been taken out of it because we have the answers in front of us. The dental insurance is a big piece of the puzzle. A lot of folks want to understand what their dental insurance needs are. They'll get a phone call and do you take my insurance, but really what they're asking you is what's my responsibility after all is said and done. So if we have all of that information at the exam, that helps us to offer same-day convenience. So every morning when I come into work, we have a dashboard. We understand what our day is going to look like. We understand what patients we're going to see. And this is so helpful to us as treatment coordinators and our team because, if folks have filled out all of the forms, all the green boxes are filled out, we've got all the pieces that we need of the puzzle. But, happens to be, we look at the screen in the morning, it looks like, Ellie, she didn't fill out her insurance information. So that's an indicator for us when they come in the door to gather that information. All of that, we'll know exactly, we have full visibility for the entire practice staff. So we've got a front desk team helping out, and it's not a doctor-led practice, it's not a TC-led practice. In fact, it's a team-led practice, and it's definitely something we can't do without a team. So this helps us to really identify how our day is going to go, not only today, but you'll see what's going on tomorrow, what's coming up. It also, this dashboard allows us to see what still needs attention and what follow-ups I need to do. We'll get into this a little bit later, but you'll see on the screen as well, there's a start at home indicator as well, which is really exciting, but I'll get to that at the end as we walk into this. So we want to know what our goals are prior to the patient coming in. So the forms that they're filling out helps us to identify that, right? We understand that the cheat sheet tells us basically everything that we need to know about the patient prior to the consultation, meaning, we understand the responsible parties, we understand the patient, their age, we also understand what their insurance benefit is as well. As you walk through the forms, there is, medical history information, and this becomes important to us as we talk with the doctor about the patient's concerns and needs. So not all the time can a doctor understand what the general medical needs are or conditions are of a patient, but because we have this, we can share this with the doctor, and that way the doctor can help us more effectively treatment plan with the patient. This is my most favorite part of my OrthoFi forms, because what I used to do when I sold cars, it was a ton of guesswork, right? But this has taken a lot of the guesswork out of it. So now with the ability of this cheat sheet, I have the opportunity to tailor every one of my exams to the needs of the patient. So as we're contacting them and we're talking to them, I understand in this particular scenario that comfort's really important to the patient, or a low monthly payment, or even the quality of treatment. So these are things that I can start to use to form my consultation. I understand they're giving me all the answers. I understand what's important to them, so now I can proactively utilize this information and talk to them about what those needs are and really overcome those obstacles without saying things like, oh, I understand comfort's most important for you. If I were to see that and I saw a patient and comfort was ultimately important to them, in my office, I would share with them about our Damon system braces and how they are self-ligating and how they use natural forces of the body to move teeth. And really, what does that mean to the patient? It means there's not a lot of friction, so it's more comfortable. But if I were to say, oh, I understand comfort's important to you, well, here's why it won't be. It gives you the ability to creatively script the things that you're going to say next to the patient that are most important to them. Also, patients take the time to fill out these forms. So if you just take one piece out of the cheat sheet, maybe Johnny's interested in baseball and you start talking to Johnny, hey, are you playing baseball yet? That's a connection that you're making with the patient, but then your mom or your dad maybe are checking off that little box. All right, she read the forms. That's great. You're building rapport and you're building trust at the same time. We do, in the process of things, a hype call, if you will. Could also be called a confirmation call. Before doing the confirmation call, we're reading that cheat sheet, so we know that things, what is important to the patient prior to them coming in. And then we send out a personalized video setting those expectations based on what we'd like them to know is going to happen at their next appointment. Hi, Ahmad. My name is Danielle, and I'm a treatment coordinator here with Spillane Reynolds Orthodontics. I understand that we have the pleasure of meeting you on Monday afternoon at 1:45 in our Novi location for an orthodontic consultation. We're really looking forward to meeting you. I wanted to send you this quick video message introducing myself, also setting some expectations for Monday's exam. We'll do an ultra low dose 3D x-ray. We'll take some digital pictures. We'll talk about your concerns. We'll share all that information with the doctor. And if the doctor recommends treatment, we'll cover and go through the details of that customized treatment plan. We'll talk about the details of the financial aspect of it and how it can work for you to make that affordable and comfortable. We always leave time for same-day convenience, so if the doctor does recommend treatment and it's something you want to move forward with, we've already left time for you to stay that day. If you have any questions about Monday's exam, don't hesitate to give me a call. You can reach me at 248-344-8400. Take a few minutes over the weekend, fill out those health history forms that you receive from our partner OrthoFi so that we can better help you when we see you on Monday. Take care. Bye. So why is that important? Why is all the work ahead of them coming into the exam important? Because that gives you an opportunity to connect with the patient, talk about the date, the time, the location of the appointment, and reinforcing that we have that scheduled appointment for them. Then you get to outline the steps of the exam and start prepping them for that same day convenience. So we're setting expectations also to discuss any of the financials. And then also we're able to answer any questions. So we'll always call first and then we'll send a video. So our call and our video sound a lot alike. So if we're calling, we're able to ask if there are any questions, so we can start overcoming any obstacles that we may see right away. The greeting is a big deal when they walk into the office. And we have found that sharing our office with our patients, getting our patients comfortable in our office is really important. I could pick them up and rush them back to my office and then try to, discuss treatment and, but I'd rather spend the time building the value in our office and our team. So we do an office tour. We greet them, we walk them, show them the convenient features in our office. We show them where our iPad stations are. We show them where our coffee station is. We show them where the warm cookies are. We show them those things. We show them the clinic. We let them know, this is where, you'll be seen, and you'll be seen at every scheduled office visit by a doctor. Those key pieces as you walk around are important because they are being they're pieces of the puzzle that they'll need in order to make the decision. So it's important. I'll often say when we walk into the clinic, this is, where you'll come in for all of your appointments. You'll see a doctor at every scheduled visit. And I say that because maybe the other guy isn't saying that. Maybe the other treatment coordinator in the other office didn't emphasize that we're going to see a doctor at every scheduled office visit. We walk through, our team is amazing. They're waving and saying hello and greeting and really giving that sense of community and warmth and a welcome feeling. We show them where the brushing stations are. We show them where the restroom is. We show them where our lab is. I show them where our lab is because I'm proud of the fact that Andrea in our lab is one of the most amazing appliance designers that I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. She has nearly 25 years experience. So I want to highlight that experience. I want to say, Andrea, she makes all of our appliances. She makes them for all of our offices. In fact, she has nearly 25 years of experience. So I really want to emphasize the experience that they will get. I often like to say that in our office, we don't outsource our appliances. And had I not said that, maybe it wouldn't have mattered, but saying that may resonate with somebody a bit differently. Maybe it's a bit more of a personal touch. We walk through the office, we look at the, the ultra low dose 3D X-ray machine, and we talk about the importance of that and why we've chosen an ultra low dose 3D X-ray machine for our office is because our doctors want to treat your children as they would their own, and it's what's in their best interest. This gives us an opportunity to also take records at the same time. So we're giving the patient, the family, everybody a good feel for our office. And by the time that we get into my office or the treatment office, it becomes an easier transition of, how can I help you? So we recorded a quick office tour. And by I say we, I meant Melissa Vest, who's one of our treatment coordinators here in the office, is really amazing at editing, recording, putting things to music. So we just on the fly one day did a super quick office tour. I want to show it to you. I'm going to move it forward, take a look here. Hi, welcome to Spillane Reynolds. I'm your treatment coordinator. Come with me, I want to show you around. And this is where all the magic happens. This is a Mojo's 3D X-ray machine. Come on in. So tell me a little bit about what brings you in today. So what brings you in today? How can I help you? Those are open-ended and calibrated questions. Those help us to identify why the patient's there. And rather than assuming why they're there, it's best to ask them. At least that's what I've found. How can I help you? Well, my dentist sent me over. Or You know, he looks really crowded. I would think I had braces, and I'm thinking maybe he needs braces. So those are all very good pieces of information for you to be able to then direct the rest of your exam. So Dr. Klosowski and I sat down, maybe it was 3 years ago at this point. I was out in his office, and we started talking about the different ways an exam will go. He got up on the board, and he big X in the middle there, and we sectioned everything off. And what we realized as we were doing this is that there's really 4 different ways an exam is going to go. And I find it for treatment coordinators, this to be very beneficial information, because a lot of times it can seem like, oh my gosh, this exam can go any sort of way, but in reality, it really can't go any certain way. It's going to go one of 4 ways, right? And this is a good indicator. You can kind of read through it, but I'll just briefly go over these for just a moment. So, we present the treatment to, the pictures to the doctor. The doctor's saying, nope, we're not ready to go. The patient's not ready to go either. Great. So this is still really an amazing opportunity to continue to build value, because ultimately you want to watch and grow and monitor the growth and development. You want them to come back. You want them to trust you. You want to be their people when it comes to orthodontic needs. So this is, as simple as this may seem, this is a very important exam, because we're building rapport, we're building trust, we're getting to know each other, and we would love for them to come back into the office. So there's then the exam that the doctor's not ready, but the patient is ready. That's a really important exam, because if the patient is anxious but not ready for treatment, it's important to spend the time to educate the patient as to why the doctor believes that the patient's not ready for treatment yet. So because what you don't want is for them to go to their next opinion, and maybe treatment's recommended where we could have waited just a bit. So we definitely want to be able to help the patient, but we want to make sure that the timing is right. And we want to make sure that whenever we share that information, that they understand why the timing's not right now. And that's by, looking at pictures and x-rays and really explaining, why the patient wouldn't be ready for treatment quite yet. You can break it down. Sometimes we do 2 phases of treatment, but we, prefer to do 1 phase of treatment. And we're going to continue to monitor and watch you grow, because you aren't ready for treatment quite yet. So I think that's a very important piece of the puzzle in that regard, because you definitely don't want them going down the road and finding somebody who will put braces on them, even if it's too early or inappropriate. The third option here, that's an easy one, right? Doctor, yes. Patient, yes. Everything's great. But you can't assume because a yes and a yes means that they're going to choose you for treatment. So it's really important still to take all those pre-steps, do all the work ahead of time. So when you get to the yes and the yes, it's easy peasy. Out of the 4 of these guys, I would have to say our last one here is probably the most difficult, right? Doctor, yes. Patient, no. And that's when proactively overcoming objections prior to treatment being recommended is so important. If you wait to talk about what we're going to do for them in our office and until after the doctor recommends treatment, things start to seem a little fast, probably a little pushy, probably a little salesy. But if you do all the things ahead of time, you essentially soft close the patient prior to talking to the doctor, you're not selling the treatment when you get back into the room. And I find that to be important. I don't want to be rushed or pushed. I don't want to be forcing anything. I want people to understand why they're choosing our office, the benefits that they're choosing in the office, not just because the doctor's recommended treatment. Asking calibrated questions is part of discovery. It's part of understanding why your patients are there. You want to avoid yes, no questions. You want people to give you a longer response. So that's why often, every time we'll start with how may I help you? And then I won't say anything else, because they tell you everything that you need to know. But you could also ask questions as to, why did you choose us? Why do you do that? Because if they tell you why they chose you, because my friend comes here, or I've heard great things about you, they're owning the exam, and they're owning the appointment themselves as well. It's not you doing all the work. They're taking, they're accountable too for coming in the door and why the reasons they did. So we're just kind of, we're all on, or we're not doing all of the work, right? They've also understood, why that, they're choosing us. And it's also important to understand these open-ended questions because you want to know what's important to you in this decision-making process. Overcoming objections can be difficult to do if you wait until the point of sale. But if you talk about the things, the financial concerns, insurance, any type of dental work, multiple opinions, prior to talking with the doctor about the treatment recommendation, you're being very proactive in making, getting through those objections. But you have to do it in a way that it doesn't seem as though you've looked at the sheet and you're just answering the question. So if I were to see this particular cheat sheet for my patient, I would understand that comfort, low monthly payments, and a low down payment and quality of treatment are very important to these patients. So I now know how to move into this exam. I know that comfort's important to them. So what will I share with them? I'll share with them that our Damon braces are more comfortable, right? But you'll use what's best in your office. You'll find that what you're doing in your office, you'll find the pieces of that are the best. And those are the things you're going to highlight, because not every office obviously runs the same. We don't use the same technology, but you can in fact highlight everything that's amazing about your office to your patients using these this information. Now, if I see low monthly payment as a concern, I'm not going to say, oh, I saw on the cheat sheet you want low monthly payments. I'm going to say something to the effect of, I'm really glad you chose our office. One of the things that set us apart from everybody else is that we offer very affordable and comfortable payment options. And without them saying anything, I know that that wall that they've built up just got a little bit lower, right? So we just have to be creative yet respectful about the things that we're saying to our patients. And it's important to listen to our patients. Dr. Reynolds is a fan of this book. He's gotten all of us to read it probably a couple times. It's called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. He is a former FBI top hostage negotiator, so he really knows how to ask questions to get the end result, right? So through active listening, mirroring, labeling, calibrated questions, we're able to really identify our patients' needs and concerns. So if you haven't downloaded this book or read this book, I would highly suggest it. You won't listen to it once or read it once, you probably read it a few times and you'll go back to it. But it really helps to understand how to do the things that are so important, especially when we're offering services to a patient. So speaking to the education piece of our exam, it's important to understand before talking to the doctor, we'll often go through what options we offer in our office. I often will say, I'll talk with the doctor, and the doctor's going to go through and take a look at these pictures and x-rays and talk about what option for treatment is going to be best for you. Are you more interested in braces or clear aligners? Well, probably braces, but we really want the doctor's opinion. Absolutely. The doctor's only going to recommend to you what they feel is going to deliver you the best outcome. In our office, we use Damon system braces, or, if they choose aligners, in our office, we use Invisalign aligners and Spark aligners as well. And we talk about the products and the features and the benefits of those products before even talking to the doctor. If I waited to do that and talked about braces and aligners after doctor recommended treatment, it would seem a bit more pushy, at least in my opinion. We always want to highlight the doctor's unparalleled use of technology. At any given moment, everything that you say is to showcase your office for the things that are going to benefit your patient. They don't know what they don't know until you tell them. So every time I explain something, I'll often say, well, why is that important to you? That's important because you never want to put something out there and let them assume why that's important. You've spent the time explaining it's important, but tell them why it's important. I will often ask prior to leaving the room, we've talked through things, we've talked about our team, we've talked about teeth, we've talked about sometimes why we recommend early phases of treatment, why sometimes we wait. We've talked about all of those things, but then prior to talking to the doctor, I always ask, as an example, if Dr. Leo recommends treatment for Zach, did you leave time to stay today? And I'll either get a yes or a no. You know, the yes, I mean, that makes it easy, right? Of course, we left time to stay today. I've just taken a lot of guesswork out of my exam. If they say no, that's okay, right? That's still okay. It just tells me I've got a little bit more work to do. I need to uncover why they don't have time to stay. You know, we'll get to that part of it, but I know I'm not too pushy at all when it comes to, did you leave time to stay? It's a yes, a no, great. I'm gonna excuse myself for just a few moments. I'm gonna talk with the doctor. We're gonna find out what that treatment plan may look like. I'll be back in just a few minutes. I'm gonna share with you that detailed information. We'll talk about if the doctor does recommend treatment. We'll talk about the financial piece of the puzzle and how I can make that comfortable and affordable for you. So that allows me then to, when talking and downloading to the doctor and sharing the doctor the concerns, I'm taking a lot of the guesswork out of it for them. So I'll often say, you know, Dr. Leah, you know, Johnny's ready for braces if you are. Great, he's interested in braces or aligners. Yeah, he's interested in braces because mom doesn't think he's gonna keep the aligners in. Perfect. Okay, this is what treatment plan is going to look like. That does a number of things for the doctor. Now the doctor doesn't have to give me 3 different treatment plans, whatever the case might be. The doctor understands that the patient's ready to go and gives the best treatment recommendation. It really streamlines the treatment planning process with us, so the doctor doesn't have to do so much work. Now, what are we doing when we're talking about the treatment plan? I know I just covered this, but so the doctor wants to know, what is he more interested in? Is there more than one opinion? You know, what kind of concerns does the patient have? And, you know, and you want to try to do whatever you can to avoid conversations with the doctor about affordability. You know, that's our job as treatment coordinators, to eliminate that piece of the puzzle for the doctor. We want to be able to handle that conversation on our own. I often will be in the room and the doctor will, you know, come in, hello, may I answer any questions for you? And a lot of times they'll say, nope, she did a great job, totally understand everything. But there are those patients that have more questions for the doctor. So the doctor comes in and we meet, we greet, and that's a great connection as well. And then most of the time, the next question is, yeah, I just want to know how much this is going to cost. Absolutely. So she's going to take care of this from here. And then they get to leave the room and they get to go into the clinic and they get to do the things that make the wheels spin out into the clinic. I'll take care of the financial piece of this. We should never talk about whether a patient can afford treatment or not with a doctor. That's our jobs to make it affordable and comfortable with them, not the doctor's job to have to spend time thinking about how they're going to treatment plan based on affordability. Once our doctor gives us our treatment plan, as treatment coordinators, we go back to, we go back into the room and we start talking about it. Johnny's ready for braces. The doctor said this is a great time to get things started. The doctor believes that upper and lower braces with some bite correcting elastics will idealize everything and align everything. It's going to take us about 18 months in total for treatment. So what I want to present to you today, do you have any questions about that? Right? You always want to ask because you don't want to move into a financial conversation prior to finding out if they have any more questions. So we are able to build our treatment plan through our payment slider option here. So you'll see, as you can see here, that we've got some exam details. As we push through this slide here, we'll see, oops, wrong way. Good, that we can, everything's already in the system. So our fees, our codes, there's no, I'm not writing anything out on a sheet. I'm not guessing at what the fee is. I don't have to look anything up. It's already in the system. So in this case, it's comprehensive treatment. It's an adult. It's, whatever the severity of it may be, and the type of option that we've chosen for him. It allows us to put the treatment length in as well. And then you'll see here that the fees are populated, right? You'll also see here that there's an estimated insurance benefit already calculated automatically within your payment slider. So we build this, we move into, we move into the payment summary over on the right-hand side. So this lets us know what our total investment's going to be. Any estimated insurance benefit as well, any courtesies that we're providing as well. And then once we hit this, you hit continue, it builds a slider for you, and then we can present the slider from there. All right, so I want to show you our slider presentation here in the office. And it looks like this, right? Total investment, estimated insurance, any type of courtesies, and then most important to the patient, their responsibility. So in our office, in this particular case, the patient responsibility after all is said and done is $3,900. That's truly the number that we're working with. So what I like to do with our patients is offer them the ability to save as much money upfront as possible. So with this slider feature, I'm able to move the slider all the way over to the right-hand side, which gives us that pay in full option with the courtesy. I think that sounds as though I want to help them, right? And because we're offering them a service, I want to continue to offer them a service, even when we're talking about money. Because I don't know if they've saved up for a long time for Johnny's treatment, or in fact, if they'll need, I don't want to guess at that. So I want to offer them the ability to save as much money upfront as possible. And then we like to dial it back just a little bit. You could at this point choose to hand over the iPad to the patient and they can find their most comfortable payment option. You can also, as a treatment coordinator, walk them down that road about the options. I love that piece of it, turning my screen around, showing them the pay in full, waiting to see what they're going to say. And then, I think I need payments, payment option. Well, perfect. So let's go down and take a look at these things. So a lot of times our families, because they have maybe an HSA or an FSA account, choose possibly to put $2,500 down. So my slider goes from pay in full to $2,500 down, and we walk it back from there until we find out what's a comfortable payment option for them. I do this for a couple of reasons, because I don't want to miss an opportunity to a pay in full opportunity if it's there, right? We offer 0% financing. We offer incredibly flexible options. So I know there are more options behind a pay in full. So we like to try to, offer them the best options but let them choose. So we have very affordable down payments and very affordable monthly payments. So in a lot of cases, we'll get to this point, they've agreed to what they've agreed to, and then we hit start smiling now.
Yes, I spoke with a doctor and he says you're an amazing candidate for orthodontic treatment. The fee I'm going to present to you today is inclusive of everything you're going to need to have a successful orthodontic journey in our office. Damon system brackets, retainer for a lifetime, and an adult hygiene kit. Your total treatment investment is $6,860. You have an amazing insurance benefit of $2,000. Now, if you decide you'd like to pay this in full and take advantage of an additional 3% courtesy, you could do that. Maybe you want to use your HSA, your FSA, or even a 0% credit card, something you're earning points or miles on. If you were to do that today, your payment in full would be $5,927.
Do you guys have payment plans?
We do. We offer really flexible payment options in our office. Let me show you what I can offer. So with $2,500 down, your payments over 20 months will be $180.50 a month.
Sounds good.
Excellent. We're going to start smiling now.
Let's do it.
So in a lot of cases, the patients are going to start the same day because you've done all of the pre-work. You've offered them a treatment plan, affordable, flexible payments. You've overcome all the objections prior to. But, in a lot of our cases, over 80% of our cases, most of our patients stay the same day. But, that's not going to be in every single case. You can try to overcome every single objection. However, you may just be left with, I need to discuss this with my spouse first. Oh, that's okay. That's going to happen. OrthoFi has an awesome sign at home feature that we see utilized in our office a lot. So patients, we can send home the slider with them. They can play around with the down payment, the monthly payments as they're talking to their spouse or their significant other about how they're going to manage this financially. They can sign the contract from home and in fact also put the down payment down from home as well. So I know in our busy TC lives, it can be difficult to make the time to follow up with those patients, but we've already invested so much time into the patients. You want to make sure that you're consistent in anything you do following up. So OrthoFi makes it really easy for us to be able to send home that slider, let them choose from home, and allows our follow-up to still be very consistent. And in fact, when one of our patients do sign from home, we get an instant notification so that we can respond very quickly and get things started. With the contracts being signed at home, on an average, they're finding 26% of their contracts are being signed at home. I found these particular percentages to be really interesting, because what we're finding is, though maybe they've walked out and you think they're not going to start, but in fact, 22% of the folks we see the same day are signing at home that evening. 28% of our folks are signing at home within 48 hours of the consult, and then I think the best one here is 33% of our patients are signing after hours or on the weekend. So, I mean, we all need our time at home, but what's the systems and these processes and OrthoFi is working for us even when we're not in the office. We have a pending management system that we get to utilize as well. It's we understand where our patients are. We understand if we're going to set up a follow-up process. With OrthoFi's new automated pending patient follow-up system, it allows us to send home the slider and then set up the follow-up. And OrthoFi has an amazing follow-up program with a really great content that has a nice cadence to it all the way through. You're notified as a treatment coordinator what your next steps with those patients are. So the content that's going out is consistent and relevant to the patient. The fluidity of it isn't overwhelming by any means. I believe it's about an 11-week campaign in total, which your patients have an option to opt out of if they choose to. But it's been a game changer for us in the office, because as every other practice knows, we see a lot of patients, and we want to make sure that consistent follow-up in order to make them patients is happening. And we don't always have the time to do that. So fortunately for us, we're able to use the automated follow-up pending system within OrthoFi. Right. What are the benefits to a, less doctor in the exam? This allows us to have a capacity to have more new patient exams. It allows from an exam that may have been 1 hour to a 45-minute exam, because we don't have to correlate our schedule with the doctor's schedule in order for them to come into the room, right? So this allows us to have more available time slots for exams. We want to minimize the doctor time in the exam so they have more clinical time. And we want them to have less involvement in the sales process, so there's less stress. And I'm sure a lot of those doctors want less involvement in the sales process. But what this also does is empowers your team to make decisions, good decisions for your organization, to be a strong leader, to be someone who is empowered to empowered to make those moves forward for you. Empowerment also offers increased job satisfaction. It also really improves conversion rates. So not only does it take some of the pressure off the doctor to have a more TC-driven exam, but it also ends up giving the doctor more time in the clinic and doing the things that the doctor should be doing, which is important. I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen with me here and talk about the things that are working in our office, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
That was awesome, Danielle. Thank you so much. I know we kind of covered a lot of things there, and I love some of the points you talk about at the end of the benefits of the practice. And I think one of the things that obviously is important is kind of the culture, creating kind of a same-day start culture in your practice, and having all of your teammates really work together. Can you talk a little bit about how you guys do that? What's that culture like in your practice? How are you supporting one another and making sure that everybody's on the same page? Are there different things you can think about it, or different ways that kind of help maximize those relationships within your practice itself, whether it's with the doctor and the TC, or even front office staff or clinical staff? How does the kind of culture work in your practice?
Thanks, Brian. It starts with having all the right team members in the right seats on the bus, right? And if that same day culture isn't an easy task, it's a difficult thing to do. when we are looking at changing processes, going from an office that doesn't offer same-day convenience to doing that comes with a lot of process changes, from clinical team to front desk team to TC team to literally everybody involved. But it's a matter of having all the right people in all the right places and all having the same goal in mind.
Do you have a lot of patients or parents asking to see the doctor during your consult? When they're obviously Dr. Reynolds, or there's only in there for a little bit. Like, do you have that? Do they come up a lot, or and if it does, like, how do you address that when it comes up, and that obviously the doctor's only going to be in there for a small amount of time?
So it's important, right? Every word that we say to a patient. So as I'm leaving the room to get the treatment plan, I'll say, I'm going to go speak with the doctor in regards to, Johnny, we're going to look at pictures and x-rays, and the doctor's going to let us know exactly what he believes is the best treatment plan moving forward. I'll be back in just a few minutes, and we will go through the details of the treatment plan. And Ollie will hear on occasion, so am I going to meet the doctor? Absolutely, of course you're going to meet the doctor. So it's a pivot and a turn for us, but it has to do with active listening. You see body language, you understand, but if you're telling them you're going to be back in and they're telling you, am I going to meet the doctor? Absolutely, you're going to meet the doctor. You don't skip a beat about it. You just have to be listening, aware of what's happening. But it's all dependent on the expectations that you're setting for them. If I say to them, great, I'm going to talk to the doctor and we'll be back in just a couple minutes, but I'm the only one who comes back, they're waiting for the doctor to come back. But if I say, I'm going to talk to the doctor, I'll be back in just a few minutes and share with you what the doctor said, that's mostly the moment I get, well, am I going to meet the doctor? Right? So they'll ask, and absolutely you're going to. He's actually just finishing up at a chair right now, or she's actually, putting braces on. She's going to be in just a minute.
Absolutely. One of the most common challenges that we're hearing right now, across the country, and not just with orthodontics, but a lot of different industries, are challenges around staffing and hiring, quality teammates, or getting them up to speed quickly and training them. How does having the right systems and processes and tools in place at your practice, whether it's OrthoFi or another platform or service, or different product out there that's in your practice, how does that help alleviate some of the challenges when it comes to training TCs and getting new TCs up to speed so that they're converting at the highest conversion rates possible?
I understand that not all treatment coordinators are quote unquote salespeople. So what OrthoFi allows us to do is take a lot of the guesswork out of what we're presenting to our patients. So a lot of times treatment coordinators will project what they think a patient can afford, what they think the patient can do, and assuming things in this scenario is no good. But within OrthoFi, they don't have to, they can walk through that financial piece without having a sheet of paper in front of them and saying, well, it's A, B, or C, and there's no mix in between. This allows an easy onboarding of the financial piece for the treatment coordinator, because it's basically there for you. You have to know how to prepare the slider and how to move the slider. And as a treatment coordinator, you can hand over your slider to your patient, and they can choose those choices. So we've eliminated what we assume the patient will pay, and I think that really can help when we're training a new TC, or you're training someone into the sales aspect of actual orthodontics.
This question just came in from Dakota Tatum. How much time on average does the doctor spend in each exam?
We like to minimize the doctor time as much as possible. We'd really like it to be hello, do you have any questions? So, but there are patients that do require more time, and of course we make those those changes within our process. But we like to have the doctor in there for just a couple minutes.
Coming out of out of the pandemic last year, when obviously practices were closed, many practices had closed doors for a little bit, and coming out of that, I would say over the last year to 18 months, a lot of practices are really busy, and obviously more people have been getting orthodontic treatment. A lot of adults are getting treatment, having the Zoom effect, and sitting here like we are looking at your face and realize like, man, I should get some Invisalign. What would you say to a practice that says, I'm already growing a lot, or I don't even, my schedule is jam packed, and I don't even know how I could fit more exams into my schedule? Like, how would you, say, what would you tell them? Like, if you were telling them things that they could do, whether it's increasing same-day starts or the 45-minute consults, what would be something you would advise them on why they should think about looking at different systems to help improve their practice?
I think that's a really great question. I think that if you're seeing more exams and you're busy, it's important to understand, are you converting all of those new patients, all of those extra patients? Maybe go from 75 patients to 100 patients, but are you converting those patients? Do you have the right processes in place? You may be busy, but is your busyness really making sense? So that's why we feel having all of the right pieces and the processes in place are important to understanding, where do we stand? We saw a bunch of new patients, but the conversion, what are we converting those new patients at and those new opportunities? Are we really grabbing those opportunities and converting them into patients? And you need to understand that. And OrthoFi helps us understand our conversion, the amount of people we're seeing, the amount of people that aren't showing up for exams, and really gives us a nice bird's eye view of what's really truly happening in our practices.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point you bring up, right? Obviously you're going to naturally grow if you're just having more opportunities, right? Seeing more patients. So, if you can then increase your conversion rate by 10%, or, have more same-day starts versus secondary appointments, it can even grow your practice even more, and you're actually getting more starts without, like you said, kind of just working harder just because you have more patients in the practice. And I think that's a really great point. There was a couple questions earlier about, that people really love the videos and they thought that was really helpful and something they want to implement in their practice. When it comes to, so I guess with the office tour video, is that on your website or are you just sending it to patients? How are you using that? You put it on YouTube, or is it like a resource that you're putting out digitally?
TikTok, Melissa Best again, is really focused on getting us out there a little bit more media, social media. So these are things going on TikTok. We're sending them to our patients as well initially, so that they can get comfortable with our office prior to them coming in.
So that tees up the next question really well, I guess. How important is social media and things like TikTok specifically? How important has that been for your practice? And kind of part two of that is, if it is important, you're busy, right? TCs, we were just talking about how busy practices are. We know it's a busy time of year right now. How are you able to find time to prioritize those things and spend time on social media or spend time on marketing? How does your practice kind of manage that? And we're instead, if you're having to do insurance verification calls or sit on hold with an insurance company or do billing and follow up, like how do you organize the time to be able to prioritize things like TikTok?
Well, fortunately, I don't have to spend any time on the phone with the insurance company. And frankly, I don't know how we could manage an effective exam if I had to do that. That's a lot of work to have to do, which is eliminated. So it frees us up to be able to do the other things, to be a presence in social media, for people to see us. So because of what we're utilizing in our office, it allows that to work itself. So our insurance is being verified, our patient forms are being sent out. Those things are happening while we get to do the other things and really focus more on our patients than focus on the workload in front of us. And that's what we're here for, is to focus on our patients and deliver them the very best possible service. Love it.
When it comes to, answering questions, like obviously, you aim, Tim Frost has a question of, it's obviously important to answer any questions in the exam. But do you think it's helpful to have video resources to send out to patients or to link on your website that they can reference in a digital format to answer frequently asked questions? Or do you think there's it's not as beneficial when you're kind of losing that non-face-to-face? Like, I guess how do you think having digital resources and assets has been beneficial, if so, to your practice?
It's even more so important, right? If we're minimizing the doctor time, it's absolutely more so important to have those resources available, so you can send them links, or you can pull up your before and after website and you can show them the results, proven results in our office. So those things are incredibly valuable for us, especially because we try to minimize the time the doctor spends in the room.
Mary Pham has a quick question. I know we're coming up on time, so I'll try to be as respectful as possible here, not keep everybody too late. Thank you again for everybody being here. When do you have time to prepare for tomorrow's exams if you're in exams all day? Do you have a TC assistant, or how are you kind of managing that workload?
So it's a team effort, right? It's not one person that drives this ship forward. We work very well together. If I can't get to my confirmation calls, somebody's going to help get to the confirmation calls, because ultimately we all have the same goal in mind, and that's to help our patients, have them come in the door, and start them as patients as well. So we have a mindset in our office that, ultimately, I would personally love to be able to do every one of my confirmation calls. I would. I like doing them. I think it's a great chance to get to know people, and whether they see me or they see another treatment coordinator, we get to share the benefits of our office with them. But unfortunately, it doesn't always happen. So it becomes much more of a team effort. We employ our front desk team to help us. So we have scripting already in place. They understand what to say, setting the expectations. So it's definitely a team effort in our office when we're super busy.
Well, awesome. I know we're right at an hour. So again, I want to thank everybody for being here with us tonight. I know it's been, like I said, schedules are busy. It's that end of summer rush before kids are going back to school. For a lot of you, again, a lot of you OrthoFi practices that are here, thank you for being here. We love having you as partners. For anyone that's not a client of OrthoFi, if you want to learn more and want to see what we can do to potentially help your practice, we'd love to meet with you. So if you schedule a demo, you could, not only is it, like I said, a really valuable hour of your time, I promise you'll find it worth it. But you could also win a free $500 gift card for being here on the webinar tonight. And again, we're doing a lot of different new client promotions, a lot of different integration offers with some of the new integration partners that we have with all the different practice management softwares, with Gauge. We have a lot of different things I think that you find helpful. And then I think you'll learn a lot about industry trends and different things that are impacting orthodontics. So you can scan this QR code that you see on the screen. You can also go to our website, startmoresmiles.com, or call us and email us, and we'd love to chat with you. Danielle, any last pieces of advice or anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to hit on tonight?
I think for me, I've said this before. I know I've said this before, and you always minimize this part. I love what I do, but my job, I'm more effective and efficient in my job because we get to use resources like OrthoFi. A lot of things are taken off our plate as treatment coordinators, and we get to focus on our patients more. So, I'm glad we use OrthoFi. I didn't know a world before OrthoFi. I'm kind of glad for that, but I would highly recommend at least learning a little bit more about what OrthoFi can offer your practice. It's really great because, you'll start to see actual numbers. You'll start to understand new patient conversion. You'll understand the metrics of your office. OrthoFi is a great tool to be able to help you do that. So like I said, I didn't have a world before OrthoFi. I don't know what it looked like, but I often say, I wish this was a program within the auto industry as well. We could really minimize that finance manager and stayed connected with our patients. So I hope that you guys take the invitation and are able to spend some time with OrthoFi. I think it'd be well worth it.
That's awesome, Danielle. We appreciate that. Again, thank you all so much. Danielle, thank you for everything, for doing this tonight with us. We hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear any questions you might have, or even if there's questions for Danielle, we'd be happy to forward them along to her and make sure that she gets them answered for you. Again, appreciate you being here. Startmoresmiles.com. There's our contact information there. And I wish all of you the best. I hope you wrap up the summer, with best summer that you ever had, and head into the fall and ready to have the best fall that you've had in your practices as well. And we hope you guys learned a couple things tonight. So thank you so much. And we look forward to hopefully chatting with some of you soon. Bye, Danielle.
Bye, thanks.